Would you describe your voice as deep? I mean, your name is Gravelthroat, and it's definitely got the gravel in there. Like
Right.
mine is a little deeper, so I can't even push to those high notes. They just aren't there. I just
Right.
ceiling out. But do you find if you push, you can get there, even whether you should be there or not?
I can't anymore. At one time, I could do I could do high clean singing. I can't do the high scream singing anymore. I used to be very proficient at it, and I don't know if it's a mental block because I don't want to hurt myself, or cost myself, my voice for a given amount of time. There was a time I wasn't working regularly in voiceover, so I could have a band practice or a show on a Saturday night, lose my voice till Tuesday, and it wasn't any big deal. Now I'm not afforded that luxury. I have to be able to talk Monday morning.
So good copy is just, it does half the work for you, but you have to be able to recognize the pivot points, how to convey. I mean, you'll get that copy and be running through it, like you said, by yourself, and get into session, and the director or the copywriter or the producer has a completely different idea of where that thing's going to go. But it finally makes sense, and that's such a sense of freedom when you're like, okay, now we're all on the same page.
Right. And I love well-written copy. Like, those are obvious, I think for most of us, are particularly fun auditions to do. If you have well-written copy, if it evokes emotion immediately, if it almost sings to you, like it speaks to you itself. The downside of that is that every other seasoned professional who's getting it, it's talking to them too. So you have to bring that certain something, that little whatever, I got really fortunate with one of my recent kind of big bookings because the specs for the copy were a coach or speaking to a team. And I was like, I never book this stuff. I never book sports announcer or coach. So the way I read the copy, like I was almost saying, my tone of voice was, I won't book this, right? The first few lines were like, we're not in hockey for the fame or the hype. We're in hockey for this kid and his mom. And it came out of my voice like, I'm not going to get this. I'm not cut out for this. I don't do it for this. I do it for that. And because, like, actual, authentic, you know what this is. It's for the ESPN thing. And it's like the fact that I was not in my own way and worried about getting it or being right or making somebody happy with how I was sounding. And it was like these authentic thoughts were coming out with somebody else's words. The rest was history after that,
How ironic is that? I mean, the direction could have been, sound like a voice actor that has to leave in 15 minutes to go pick his kids up from school. Okay, I got that. And you said the little something, that little something you try to tap into, that little something, after you've interpreted everything else, that's you, you know?
Right.
That last little bit is you and nobody else, and that's strangely sometimes the hardest part to access. I'll reiterate again, even though it's a podcast and not radio, that's one thing in podcasting you don't have to do. We're speaking again with Dan Wright, because people are always tuning in. So podcasts, they just look at their phone and what is this all about? But unless there's anything you want to table.
Well, I will say that a VO who's a friend of mine who's phenomenally successful and very, very talented. And like you, he has been both sides of the glass, engineer, producer, writer, VO talent now. Roger Leopardi. I'm saying all good things about him, so there's no reason to omit his name.
That's true.
He likes to work with both cans on and with the volume way up. And it doesn't cost him any bookings. I mean, the guy works bell to bell. And he, he kind of controls his voice like with a fine brush, I don't work well that way. I'm better just kind of throwing it out fast and loose. It feels more comfortable to me. But there are guys, just to mention one guy who, you know, he swears by it. Have both cans on, have as much volume as possible without hurting yourself, of course, and be completely cognizant of how you sound, and, you know, and it works for him, so.